guys, it's Herbivore Beauty. Welcome back to my channel. I'm hoping that the wind isn't too loud out here. It's been pretty calm so far, so hopefully you guys can hear this entire video. I just wanted to talk to you guys basically about like sustainability stuff, and I know it's a really big topic of discussion on my Twitter if you guys follow me there. So I wanted to give you all some tips on basically how you can live like I guess a more low impactful life. I got the idea from Sustainable Vegan, if you guys follow her or subscribe to her on YouTube, and she talks a lot about the zero waste movement and how we can better help the planet with the things that we do, and just a little like tips here and there on how to be a more conscious consumer. And so first and foremost, obviously this channel is dedicated to veganism, so I talk a lot about basically the environmental impacts that veganism has on the planet and how positively it affects it. And I definitely think that you guys should really look into it. If you're not yet vegan, or you're on the fence or transitioning and you're just trying to figure out how you can better help the planet out, veganism is a really good step. When you think about how much water it takes to just make one hamburger, which is 660 gallons of water for one quarter pounder, which is nuts. And I think about that a lot, especially during my transition. I thought about it, and I thought about basically me taking out my demand for that supply. And so it's super sustainable, and it's definitely worth looking into. I think the first video or documentary I saw on the topic was in Cowspiracy when I first started learning about veganism, so I definitely recommend that if you haven't already seen it. And then you can go into their facts page and look more into it based off of other people's research and different references that they had, so go check that out for sure. So after you do some more research about veganism, figuring out how that movement is more sustainable, and say you already are vegan and you're just looking for more things that you can do as an individual, other steps you can take, because I know plastic is a really huge thing that people want to cut out right now, and it can be a little bit challenging just figuring out what you can actually reuse and what you can't. I actually just learned, I think about a couple of weeks ago, that by 2050, I know we talk a lot about how our oceans will be fishless by that point. That's what scientists are predicting. And the fact that we are going to have more plastic in the oceans than we are fish is something that I don't even want to think about. It's something that I find so mind-boggling. And so I want to reduce how much plastic I use as much as possible. And so here are my tips for reducing plastic and just other things that you can add to like here and there to make your impact as low as possible. So to start off, I know a lot of people have been promoting reusable straws lately, and it's definitely one of my big go-tos right now. And one thing that I need to do is remember to bring it, and so I will basically touch on that later on. But I got metal straws. I couldn't find any of them in my area, but look before you go online or go onto Amazon to go find it, just because it's really like there's a lot of packaging involved, and I know that when you buy things off of Amazon, you can make a special instruction to make it so that they put the least amount of packaging possible, which makes it definitely a lot more beneficial to you when you're getting the zero waste item that you want. And so metal straws are great for when you're going out to restaurants, or if you're just going to get a smoothie or going to Starbucks. So they're super great. I think mine came in a pack of like 5 or 6, so you can keep a couple in your like little zero waste kit, which I'll touch on later. You can keep some at home, keep some like maybe in your car, wherever you know that you'll remember to bring it in if you have it with you. It's always a super good idea. So metal straws. My next tip is to basically have sort of like handkerchiefs or like reusable napkins, ones that or cloths that you can wash after your first use, because I know a lot of the times at fast food places and different restaurants they have the just regular paper napkins, and if you're doing your best to reduce the amount of like paper you use, then they're a really good tool to have in your little zero waste kit as well, along with those straws. And also having like little mini like bamboo forks, or the sporks, which are like half spoon half forks, having those in your bag so that you don't have to use any like plastic utensils when you go out. And I love the bamboo ones just because they're super, like, bamboo is pretty sustainable, and I've been looking into bamboo just to see like how the production goes, and I know that with bamboo it grows really quickly, which is why people consider it sustainable. So I would look into that. If you don't want to go out and buy something new, it's also really good to like use your own things. So say you already have some regular like metal forks and spoons that you use and you don't mind if you bring it out with like in a zero waste kit, then I definitely recommend that you do that. That's what I have been doing, and I make sure that I just wash it after every single time I use it, of course, and it's been super easy and a lot more sustainable. The next thing I wanted to touch on was basically bringing reusable like thermoses or hot cups or Starbucks cups, whatever it is that you would use when you're getting like your coffees or your iced coffees or whatever drinks sort of that you usually go to get. I definitely recommend you picking up a reusable one, like a little thermos kind of thing, just because the amount of plastic that it takes to make a cup is ridiculous, and the fraction of like it's such a small fraction of what we can actually reuse when we do recycle our plastic things. So 100% recommend that you can get one. You can pick one up pretty much from most grocery stores or little kitchen stores, I guess. And they're definitely a really good buy, especially if you do buy things on the go a lot, if you're always getting like smoothies and stuff like that. This next tip is just if it's possible for you. I don't know what your situation is, but since I work from home now, I've definitely limited how much I eat out a lot. The thing about when you go to eat out, I know a lot of the containers and stuff that they use for their packaging is really like it's mostly like plastic or styrofoam or just some sort of paper that isn't really paper, I don't know, and it's really like it just ends up in the garbage, and I don't like it when I go out to places and I know that there's going to be so much waste coming from it. So I've limited how much I buy things from like different restaurants and takeout and stuff like that, just so that I can have a clean conscience and it makes me feel a lot better when I don't. So if you can, I'm not sure if you're like what your work situation or school situation is like, but I definitely recommend that you either limit it or you start bringing your own glass containers and ask them to fill it into there instead. I know a lot of places are really accommodating for that, so if you bring that, then they'll more often than not be okay with that. And moving off of that topic, when you go and shop it at bulk stores, I know a lot of them have those little like one-use clear plastic bags, and a lot of places have been incorporating that you can use your own jars and buy your own jars from there, or get these like reusable bags that they have. So 100% recommended. If you don't want to go out and buy your own jars, what I have been doing for a really long time has been reusing the jars that I already have. So say I buy like jams or like salsas, different sauces, I keep those jars and I use them for the bulk store. And a couple of you guys actually had questions about like how you actually use these items at the bulk store, like how you use the jars, how you bring your own jars, will you be costed or charged more for them? You won't be charged more as long as you make sure you either save a jar so that they can weigh it before they scan you out, or if you go in there and go straight to a cashier and ask them to weigh it for you, so that when you come back you don't get charged extra for whatever you buy. So definitely do that, start incorporating that more. And when you are out grocery shopping, just to getting like your regular produce and stuff, I have started using my little mesh produce bags. I'm gonna link everything that at least I have down below, which is all of these things. And so I use these little mesh bags, and they're really good for if you're getting like a lot of produce, like beans, like the fresh green beans, different fruits that you don't want to put all into the little plastic bags. And I usually just bring my shopping bag too if I don't have my little mesh bags, and I just put everything in there, put everything through the scanner, and then put everything back in my bags. And it's just because I'm gonna wash my produce anyway, so I'm not really concerned. Like the produce basically came from the ground, so I'm not stressed about what surface it touches, because I'll either be peeling it or washing it really well. So I'm not concerned about that. And sorry for the background noise, I think somebody just started their motorcycle. But yeah, so I've been doing that and it's helped so much, and I've been definitely encouraging my family to do it a lot more too. I make sure that they have shopping bags whenever they go grocery shopping, and if they don't, I'm definitely sort of on them about that, just because there's so much useless things that we do with the little plastic bags, and it just goes to waste. And so I really want to encourage the people around me to just start using less if they're able to, if they remember. So moving away from the food item kind of things, I wanted to talk about basically like our hygiene stuff. So I just actually saw a new video recently, and then again on Twitter I saw like one of my mutuals posted this little ingredients list for how to make your own deodorant, and it's mostly because like I know deodorant things, they come in like obviously the plastic things. I don't know how to explain them, but yeah, you obviously know. So they definitely use a lot of plastic. I haven't found any that don't use plastic, so I want to start making my own deodorant, and I haven't started yet, but a lot of them, whenever I see them being made, are like made in these little tiny jars, and so I'm gonna start making my own deodorant. When I find the tweet to that, I'm gonna like link it down below, and link the video as well, so that you guys can look into it as well if you're curious. And I just think that that's a really good idea if you have time, and I know it's super natural, and it's obviously gonna be vegan, and I know the ingredients are super cheap, which means that we won't be breaking the bank for making our own things. So reusable jars and then our own deodorant is a good tip to look into. I also use bamboo toothbrushes. I couldn't find any that were like super cheap at the health food store near me, but they do sell them, and I know a lot of health food stores do sell bamboo toothbrushes anyway, so check into your local one, see how much they cost. I got mine off a pack from Amazon, and it came in a pack of 5 or 6, and it came in like a sustainable little like compostable container as well, which I was really happy about, and I absolutely love them. So I completely recommend, if you guys have seen any of my other like packing videos, like my minimalist packing for Costa Rica for a month, if you've seen that video, then I talk about how I use my bamboo toothbrushes and where I got them from, so I'll link that down below as well. So I also wanted to touch on like periods, because I do talk about this whenever I talk about my packing as well, and so 2 things that I definitely recommend. It depends on who you are and what you like. I use both my reusable pads, which are made out of like these natural bamboo fibers, which I got off of Amazon, and I will link them down below. How they work is basically they're like cloth pads, and you just wash them whenever you're finished with them. So I have like 2 bags, reusable bags, one for like dirty ones, one for clean ones, and you just like either wash them while you're in the shower, or you like rinse them out and then throw them in the washing machine. It's up to you, but I use one of my natural Castile like Dr. Bronner soap, if you guys have seen that before. I use that to wash them out and make sure that I'm not using anything harsh on there, and they're really good, super recommended. And also the like menstrual cups, so the brand I use is Diva Cups, but I know there's a lot of really good brands out there as well. I found mine at my local superstore. You can find it either on Amazon, or you can find it at one of your like health stores or drug stores. It wasn't too expensive. I think it was like $35 or $40 Canadian, which works out to be like $30 or $25 American. So definitely recommended. And when you think about how much cost you save when using these products, because you won't have to constantly have to be like buying like tampons or pads, because you'll already have the reusable things that you need. It just takes away the cost so much. It pays for itself, because you can literally reuse these items. At least I know for the cup, you can reuse it for up to like 5 or 10 years or something like that, until you need to like switch or like resize it. And for the pads, you can use for a really long time as well, and you basically just play it by ear and on how they like, if they wear and tear. But they're super durable and really affordable, and definitely worth their price. Every single penny I paid, I've definitely already made it back in how much I've saved, if that makes sense. So I recommend that absolutely. And lastly, I wanted to talk about a new thing that I just found, and it was for reusable phone cases, or like compostable phone cases. And I know most of our phone cases that we use right now are made out of plastic, or just some other material that doesn't really break down very well. And so I found one that was made out of flax, so I definitely recommend that. I'm in need of a new phone case. My old one just broke, and so I will link down below where I found these because they're super awesome, and I'm really looking forward to getting one. And I think that is everything I wanted to touch on, at least so far. I want you guys to list down below your favorite zero waste or low impact items that you guys use, so that I can get inspired and the people who are watching this can get inspired to start using more sustainable things. And I might do a continuation of this video if I find a bigger list of how many things, or like of new things. But I'm also making a blog post for this, so stay tuned for that so that I can add on to whatever I touched on and different ideas on where to go from here. So anyways, thank you for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Check out me on social media. If you have any questions about how to go vegan and you need different tips or ideas, you can send me a message or DM on Twitter or on Instagram, and I usually respond pretty quickly. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!